Hi friends, Natasha here, host of the Cozy Cushion, the sacred space that I've created to meet with you each and every week to talk about things that I truly hope will help you live your absolute best life. As an intuitive empath, I see so many people struggling with so many things, and our world is really unpredictable these days. There's a lot of moving parts, there's a lot of emotions, there's a lot of distractions, digital distractions, emotional distractions, media distractions. So the list gets pretty long. Those things can accumulate in our lives, and over time, they can bring us anxiety and discomfort. And my purpose here at the Cozy Cushion is to make your life cozy and comfortable and yours. I want your life to fit who you truly are and who you're truly meant to be. So today, I always write down a word or two so that I can keep my focus each and every time I come to speak to you on Ruby Tuesday. It's a very important day for me, and I like to have a guide because I can talk about just about anything, and it's really important to me that I maintain a focus, that I maintain a direction for our community, that we're commuting our community, that we're continuing to grow here at the Cozy Cushion. The Cozy Cushion is intended to be an engagement, an education, and a community where we get to know each other and we can learn from each other. So today, the word that I wanted to discuss and talk about is self-dependence. So what that means for me is relying on yourself to make confident decisions and actions and plans that are based on your own inner knowing, your own heart-centered thoughts, ideas, and emotions. So much of our time and life is spent absorbing other people's emotions, ideas, and dreams. You know, even in our jobs, oftentimes we work for other people, so we're always trying to do our best, really, these days to stay above water. What I have found helpful in my own life is I've always had a sense of dependence. Some of that was from a necessity of survival as a young mom. I learned very early on that it was difficult to rely on other people when you have a small child, because that baby needs your undivided attention and your world is no longer your own, and you've got to figure it out. For me, there wasn't a very clear roadmap of how to proceed. So therefore, I had to figure it out. So therefore, I drew a roadmap with the experience that I had. Keep in mind, I was 17 years old. I only had 17 years of life experience when I had a small child. Self-dependence was crucial in my survival, and the ability to create my own resources to help myself learn and engage in my life and figure it out. And by what that means is, I see so many people suffering these days because they're looking for things outside themselves. Their health is the most surprising. We're very much involved in an awareness of healthy lifestyle and healthy emotions and what that means. And I really want to encourage that here on the Cozy Cushion. I want us all to be emotionally strong, feeling well, physically strong. And I see people so often, and leaving their health, their mental health, and their emotions to everything outside of them, which makes it very, very difficult to become grounded and healed and healthy. And most importantly, it's almost impossible to be happy as long as we're searching for things outside of ourselves. So whether that's things for our health, those magical pills, ideas, quick cures, and we really, as a society as a whole, we want to bypass the hard work. That's not a good idea, friends. Just because we can do something doesn't mean we should. Just because food is fast does not mean that we should eat fast food all the time. We should live life in moderation. We've become over consumers, and it's really playing a big role in how Mother Earth is reacting to the abundance of disruptions that she's receiving from all these humans doing all these big things that really don't take into consideration our own health, our well-being, our emotional stability, our health, and our physical health and strength in general. There's not many things in our world that nurture those aspects of our spiritual life. And it's important that we seek out that education for ourselves. It's important that we seek out things that we are interested in that give us hope and freedom, but most importantly, inspire us to dream bigger. So anyone that knows me knows I have a fantastic capacity to dream continuously, imperfectly, all the time, because I've perfected those things that are most important to me, like my spiritual belief system, my spiritual habits, practices, and intention, which is always to bring light and love to our world. My intention today is to bring your awareness to self-dependence. When we become self-dependent and we're looking to ourselves, to rescue ourselves, to make ourselves happy, to love ourselves, to make ourselves healthy and whole, it's a game changer. It's amazing how quickly our physical body will respond to our love and attention to our inner life, to our heart center, and to our mind. It's amazing how much our physical body reconnects with all of our systems, our circulatory system, when we engage in our breath and put effort into clearing our mind, breathing into our organs, and bringing oxygen to our physical body. Some of us are very shallow breathers. We breathe really quickly. Some people breathe through their mouth alone. Our mouth is for eating. Our nose is for breathing. So we want to be breathing through our nose. And people think we're breathing into our lungs, which is great. Our lungs do indeed need oxygen. But most importantly, what we need to do is breathe to our brain. When we breathe in through our nose deeply and back into our brain consciously, very, very deep down into our lower belly, not only are we exercising every organ we have, it's going to send a signal to the rest of our mind, body, and spirit to work for us, not against us. That's a very useful life tip. We don't want to be holding our breaths. We don't want to be sitting in our anxiety, our anxious moments, and our worry. When we are worrying, when we are anxious, when we are quick tempered, we're in survival mode. When we spend too much time in survival mode, we become very reactive. We also become very reliant on other people, places, and things for our comfort and joy. If any of those circumstances change, it can affect us in a very dramatic way, and it could make us weak. It can make us very hard to stand up for ourselves. It can make it hard for us to make conscious choices in life. It can be hard for us to heal in environments that are not nurturing, surrounded by people that celebrate our joy. So our lives are a very, very personal, private journey that we need to go on alone. Why we're here with everyone else. All of our lives will become easier when we start taking the journey by ourselves, for ourselves. I've noticed in my own life, once I started walking my own journey as the person I truly was, Natasha Greeno, the little farm girl from Hants County, Nova Scotia, that has a passion for animals and animal husbandry, that grew up into a young lady that had a lot of struggles, that learned from a lot of her mistakes to be very resilient, resourceful, creative, and inspired by, first of all, helping myself create a path and a journey that was unique to me. I started making choices of where I worked. I wanted to work in places that supported me as a growing person. And I'm glad that I made those decisions, because it's brought me here now, wanting to support you in making those decisions for yourself. As we grow older, we lose people in our lives, our friends, our loved ones. Grief can be a really big struggle in our lives, but what I've really become to understand about my own life is being self-dependent on myself can really make my life easier. And the more I practice that by doing things for myself with good intention, not saying yes to things that I don't like, that I don't want to do, I no longer participate in, I noticed that all the things that I love started lining up for me. Things started getting easier and easier and more effortless. When I started these videos, I used to put a lot of planning and effort into them. The more confident I became, and the more I tuned into my desire to help my community, which is you guys watching today, the more the pieces of my puzzle came into place and the better it felt. So much so that today, even 3 years later we're always on a life journey, all of us. I started taking my life journey very personally and seriously about 5 to 6 years ago, out of necessity, because I was sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I needed to utilize all those experiences I had to create a map for myself so I could stand on land again, so I could ground myself, so I could become a better grandmother, a better mother, a better, happier person for myself and my family, because I was no longer fun. I didn't feel fun. I didn't exude fun. I was nervous, I was anxious, and I was reactive and scared. There was a lot of fear in my life just 5 years ago. So with a mindset change and some decisions on self-reliance, self-resilience, self-love, self-discipline, self-will, self-regulation, psychic protection. Because I'm an intuitive empath, I needed to build skills that were specifically suited for my needs. I needed to be tuned in to what I truly needed from our world, from my family, from my friends, most importantly, from myself. I needed to put myself into the equation. I've been making vision boards for 20 years. I make one mostly every single year, and every year I put these beautiful pictures on a Bristol board and I cut them out and I try to put them in order of all the things that I love. I did that for years to draw the power of attraction into my life with all these pictures, all these ideas and emotions. And it really did improve my life because it gave me gratitude, it gave me focus, and it was the beginning of learning what it was like to build a roadmap to a better life. And I realized about 5 years ago, after looking through all my vision boards and all the things that came true, right down to my Jeep that I drive today, was actually in a vision board probably 10 years earlier. To my French Bulldog, Little Ben. I look back on my vision boards, and even though I'm a French Mastiff girl, so right now on my vision board there's a French Mastiff, there was a vision board that was made with a French Bulldog. And his name's Little Ben. So it's very interesting of how thoughts become things. When we create a plan that's very specific to who we are, who we wish to be, and how we want to be in the world, it becomes so easy. It becomes so fun and exhilarating. It's a game changer. And let me tell you, friends, when you tap into your full potential, you can do positive things in this world. I became a volunteer because I needed to get out of the house. I was working from home, which was a dream I'd achieved. But what I realized about achieving this particular dream, I didn't take into account I would be alone 90% of the time. My personality is not an alone type girl. I'm outgoing. I love strategic planning. I like mastermind groups. I like book clubs. I like talking about events and strategies. And so I volunteered. And all of a sudden, the next following year, I actually had an invited opportunity to take a part-time job at the theater that I fell in love with, ironically, which is also where, as a little girl, I watched my first Disney movie. Let me tell you, friends, when I show up to my joy job to do what I love, it's effortless. It's overwhelming and it's stressful, but it's positive and it's mine. That makes it so fun. So self-dependence, when I execute my willpower and make choices based on my own desires, dreams, thoughts, and ideas, life becomes effortless. It increases my physical, energetic vibration. It increases my energy in my physical body. It relaxes my mind. It helps me focus on my true intentions and what I really want for my life. As well as I've come across some very cool techniques that really help me help myself when things do become overwhelming, such as the breath work I share with you now and again. as well as prayers, such as the Hawaiian prayer that I've also shared with you. Those the cultivation of gratitude and positive habits, very slowly and imperfectly over time, do add up to great rewards at the end of the day. And what's best about that is that it gives us freedom. It gives us freedom from our mind, freedom from our hearts, and it lightens the load. It reduces a lot of the static and chaos around us. It makes us more attuned to how we're feeling and what we need. So I think it's really great to focus on some of these principles because it can be a game changer in your life. So I think, friends, I'm going to go today. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. Please leave your comments below. I would like to know and hear about what you thought of this video. And I'm going to tune in next week with some more tips on how we can live our lives better every day in every way. Every day in every way, things are going to get better and better. You are loved by me, and I'll see you next Ruby Tuesday. Take care, friends. Make sure you take care of yourself.